And we're live.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice, and his name is Forrest Gump. Forrest Lee has joined us today, and it is be kind to all the kids that play basketball for Pike Liberal Arts. They win another state championship. This time it's in the game of basketball.
Basketball.
Amazing. Congratulations, Patriots. It's kind of like the baseball state championship when they knocked off Morgan Academy that was the powerhouse and had won all those games. Well, they knocked off the king of AISA basketball, Tuscaloosa Academy, 55-51. State championships in all three boys sports, the reigning state champions in baseball, football, and basketball all at the same time.
And
we're coming to you, as you can see, we're coming to you on HDM1, and of course we're on Facebook, heard around the world today, this morning. If you've got friends out west, call them and tell them that the local team wins the state basketball championship for the first time ever.
Yeah, Pike Lib finished 18-2. Tuscaloosa Academy finished 24-2. Congratulations to Matt Brown and his coaches, Charlie Schofield, Billy Jeffcoat, and Laura Lee Jones. The all-tournament team for Pike consisted of Drew Nelson, Javon Christian, and Austin Cross. And Drew and Austin will be coming back next year. They're both well, Drew's a junior, and Austin Cross is a sophomore. But for scoring, Javon Christian scored 21 points. Cross scored 12. Davenport scored 10. Mario Davenport. A little bit about Mario. I was surprised he wasn't listed on the all-tournament team, but he scored 10 points, and in the last minute and a half, he was part of 3 steals. And this kid, Sam Rowley, for Tuscaloosa Academy, scored 29 points, and he shot a three-pointer, and Mario blocked it. He blocked it. Then they picked up the ball, and then they fouled Mario, and he was able to score extra free throw, and that put them up by 4.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You can see I got a little hair.
So it was 54-51, and that guy shooting the three-pointer to tie it.
Yes.
And it was blocked.
That's right.
And what a game it was, no question about it, as the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots of Troy, Alabama, have won another state championship. And as we mentioned earlier, they have won championships now in baseball, basketball, and football. So you can't do much better than that.
Those are the 3 main sports. I mean, do they have a tennis team or a golf team?
Well, I tell you what, they probably are pretty good in golf. They always are. And
the first pitch for baseball is tomorrow. They play in the Edgewood Academy tournament.
Oh,
the girls play Saturday.
You know they're a heavy favorite to win in baseball again.
Well, all they had to do is say, just signal for that little left-hander.
Yeah, Nelson.
Nelson.
He was all-tournament team
in basketball. Yeah, and then they say that they start baseball.
How tall is Nelson?
6 foot, I think.
Yeah. But he's coming. He's going to be. I would say
still growing, probably.
He'll probably be 6'2", 6'3", at least.
Who orchestrated all this? John Ramage? Is he pulling the strings on all
this? This is John Ramage's team, yeah.
Is he the general manager behind the scenes?
Yeah, he had a lot to do with it, I'll tell you that.
I mean, it's about the process at Pike Liberal Arts now. It's about winning championships.
Yeah, exactly right. As we mentioned, I was showing off what's left of my hair up the top here. It'll be won't be too long before long. It'll be out far enough to.
Have you ever gone bald? Have you ever just decided to cut it all off?
No, I haven't. But this would be a good time. But it's coming along pretty good.
Well, Mike, you were teasing me about being Forrest Gump. Today is National Chocolate Mint Day.
Okay.
It's National Caregivers Day, Tartar Sauce Day. No, that's tomorrow. Today is National Drink Wine Day. The 18th is. Got ahead of myself.
Good shape, then.
Coach, Coach Sanderson was in the stands, and he saw Pike beat his son's team, Barry's team, straight up for the state championship. And everybody that Pike put in the game were players. They were good players, and you just cannot.
What was the crowd?
You cannot clap enough for this Pike.
What was the crowd like?
The crowd was huge. There's probably 1,000 people there.
The student section was jam-packed. They were on one end of the court. Tuscaloosa Academy's student body was on the other end of the court. The people you couldn't see was where the camera was, but it was a packed crowd.
So there was no social distancing there at that game.
There was not a mask there. I didn't see one on the
Hopefully they did. It's a mask there. And if it'd be a good time for you to wear your mask, or everybody wear the mask today. Continue to wear your mask, please. And of course, Bill Rice.
I was impressed with whoever called the game on Troy Cable. He just kind of let the action happen and didn't say too much, but what he said was good. Kudos to whoever that was that called the game.
What was his name?
Fox.
Fox. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Fox does a good job.
From Enterprise, he said.
At Enterprise, and I would think that.
I was impressed with Pine Level Arts defense down the stretch. They missed a front end 1-and-1.
A couple of times.
That would have put the game away, and then they missed 2 foul shots after that. I guess once they got the double bonus, and could have won, not, more stress-free down the stretch, but they held that great score. That Sam kid from Tuscaloosa Academy, he had 3 shots from the three-point line and never really came close on any of them.
They held him to 29 points.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, wasn't he?
They played some really good defense at the very end.
Yeah. And AAA girls, Glenwood defeated Clark Prep 40-27, and right up the road, Macon East defeated Escambia, and AA boys 62-54. So Macon East is just right up the road,
and as you mentioned before, we get away from this, and of course you're gonna call in now, Steve. They can get a copy of this through Troy Cable. Is that right? What?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can. By calling Troy Cable, you can get a copy of this, and they'll be glad to make you one. And of course, there will be a charge.
You can't.
First year as a head coach, winning a state championship. I know Forrest got on the show a few weeks ago, and I know he's had some help with Billy Jeffcoat and even Coach Cross. He said has drawn up a few plays for him, but unbelievable coaching job for him.
Well, he also has the youngest coach in America helping him, Coggins Brown. His son's about 8 years old.
Oh.
He goes to every practice. He gives him a speech every day at practice.
What's his name again?
Coggins Brown.
Oh, okay.
That's Matt's son.
You know what I like about this too is you see all these kids. They play all other sports too. The football players that just went straight into basketball. Then there's great baseball players on the team.
Well, to tell you a little bit about them already in baseball. Their main pitcher has already committed to play at Auburn.
That's Nelson, right?
Nelson, and of course he's got another year,
2
more years of high school baseball, but he's already committed to Auburn.
Wow. And they're the Coach White's son, he didn't play basketball.
Oh, that's right. He didn't play. He didn't play basketball.
He was a fantastic quarterback, and I understand he's a great infielder.
I would have to say he's probably the best. Very close behind it, though, is our young man, left-handed pitcher, but Nelson. But I reckon anybody would have to say that the White kid is the best player in private schools. Would you say that?
He got voted top player, yeah.
Yeah, and
he would have won the Heisman Trophy of AAA football.
And he's committed to play for play for
baseball. I'm sure he could have. That good an athlete, they could have found a place for him on the basketball team. But I guess he just needed to focus on baseball.
And of course, he led Pike in football, and Rice was very impressed with him in football. And I tell you, they've got players.
You know,
hey, and you know, like I've always said, all it takes in basketball is 5.
right. Well, you know, the Lady Trojans
Probably.
of Charles Henderson will play tonight. They will host Brubaker Tech. And the sub-regionals at 6:30, and the Pike County Lady Bulldogs will be hosting Montgomery Academy. And other area games, the George W. Long girls will host Lafayette. Luverne girls will be at Washington County. The Carroll girls will host Talladega. And the Carroll High boys will host Sylacauga tomorrow. So good luck to all those local teams as well.
Want to get a plug for the Messenger today. You know, of course, they've covered the basketball tournament very well, and you know, I'm sure we'll cover baseball too, and they will cover the food store. Hey, hey, this thing right here was enough to make a living. Well, the Publix put this in there.
That's called an insert.
In the Messenger this morning, and so it goes out to all the Messenger people: buy one, get one free. And hey, that's where the savings really comes in.
You know, and if you buy one, you get it half price. You don't have to buy one. You don't have to pay say if it's $5,
You
buy
do
one,
get the other one half.
you can get just one, and you'll get half of off the bid. You don't have to get both.
Well,
of them.
I am glad to know that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that.
They'll give you half
That's
off
exactly
that
right.
first one.
So already far.
You need to
you've
look
added
for,
to the show.
You need to look for those deals. In my reading, I've learned that food prices are going up and getting ready to go up more. Cattle and meat prices, and then the corn prices are all going up, and so we have some pretty significant food inflation on the horizon.
Gas in the next 2 or 3 days is
going. We're supposed to eat synthetic beef.
Mm-hmm.
Gas is going up in the next 2 or 3 days, 21 cents. I read that from a reliable source yesterday.
Is that because of what's going on in Texas?
That's because they're saying it's COVID. Well, depending on who you want to listen to, I call it pipeline
Yeah,
shut down.
That's all.
It's
We lost Rush Limbaugh yesterday. I guess anybody in the world out there has probably listened to Rush Limbaugh at one time in their life. Even if you loved him or you hated him, the guy was a very successful radio host. You followed him pretty well over the years, didn't you?
I'll say this, that Rush when he quit would at the end his program was worth $500 million.
Ah.
That's pretty good. His program $500 million.
Over 20 million listeners every day.
Over 20 million listeners every day.
At one time, I think he had 28 million. I've read, and he's credited with really saving AM radio in the 80s. You know, when
that's right.
he pretty much single-handedly built news talk radio, and then sports talk radio came along, and AM radio. I used to sell commercials for radio, and it was easy to sell commercials for the Rush Limbaugh show. I remember that.
Exactly right. Troy Bank and Trust Company is now. They're showing a Troy Bank and Trust Company Mortgage Center here is showing a big anniversary grand opening located on with 14 locations to choose from. The facility will house a mortgage department, and
Where will
I
that be?
mention that today.
But it'll also continue to be a drive-through.
That's right.
Where's that going to be?
On the old First National Bank location on Park Street.
Oh yeah,
Right by the original,
by Southside
the
Baptist
original
Church.
Jack's.
That's right.
Yeah, the original.
And
My
that's-
Uncle Bill developed that shopping center over there.
And it will continue, like you
Green
said.
Drugs, I remember that.
Yeah, the Green Shrugs was
They
there.
had that little thing you drop and go spin, spin, spin.
What was the grocery store that was there? It was a Piggly Wiggly.
Wiggly, I believe
Yeah,
it was.
Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. They used to have a Fred's there on the left, didn't they, when you first go in? Wasn't there a Fred's?
Yeah.
The Oak Park Lane Shopping Center.
Yeah. And also, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, and of course they're located on.
That's a
bypass
good-looking
right here.
ad right there, boy.
Boy, every one of their ads is good looking. In fact,
That pops.
this is their hell over sale. Sales event going on right now at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks, and they've got every car on the lot with a price on it. I love that. And if you see a car you like, whether it's new or used, hey, they're ready to do business. They're ready to do business. Remember, nobody beats the Premier deal right here in Troy,
Look,
Alabama.
their commercial popped up on our TV right when we're talking about their ad in the Messenger.
Exactly right. No question about it. Of course, the Messenger is out there, and of course, we appreciate the Messenger very much.
Yeah, we're gonna get my brother on soon. He's the new publisher, Bobby. Has moved back to Troy. So
and all we have to do is look way back. Let's see if Bobby had put it in here. But the Messenger had been around since 1868.
God,
I want to say
that's the longest
I wanna
continuously
say
operated business in
1868.
Pike County.
the Messenger had been around, and it doesn't say anything like that on the headlines of the paper today.
My mother used to work for the Messenger in the 60s and 70s as a photographer and editor. I mean, she wrote articles. Not the editor.
She was a talented lady, no question about it.
The only other business that might be around that long is maybe somebody's moonshine still somewhere we just don't know about.
Well, I will tell you this, that the Douglas Brothers Jewelry had been around for a long time, but not quite that long.
But it's the oldest continuously operated business by one family, by the same family. You know, the Messengers had multiple owners.
Yeah. No question about it.
Alabama's basketball game against A&M got canceled tonight due to weather issues, so Alabama will not play it now until Saturday at home against Vanderbilt.
Auburn got canceled too.
And Troy got canceled too, and
That was Tuesday.
what happened the other day. And I want to mention Troy Regional Health Center, located right here on the bypass in Troy. We're just off the bypass, and one of the strong local hospitals in Alabama. And we appreciate all the great folks that go to work every day and do a super job at Troy Regional Health Center right here in Troy.
Yes, we
I want to also mention our good friends at Bird Drugs, and Joe is back on duty, and we appreciate him. And oh, what wonderful sausage and biscuits and eggs and ham and bacon, all the great amenities to start a wonderful day.
And you know
with.
what? And when you go in there, take your little cash and go check out that $1 super special sale on the far left shelves, and get you some shaving cream and shampoo and stuff like that after you eat or after you pick up your prescription.
I need some shaving cream.
Well,
Yeah, you do.
you can get some for $1 at Bird Drugs.
You sure do.
I'm looking forward to Raymond rolling back into town.
Is Charles Henderson's football coach going to be named this week? I keep on hearing rumors about different names.
They had a board
people
meeting.
backing out, and people taking the job. and
Haven't
not-
heard.
not
You know,
taking
let me
the
just say
job.
this, and if you're listening, whoever you are out there, if you're listening, if you don't want to be a part of Charles Henderson High School, get on down the road. Hey, go on down the road. We don't want you. If you want to be a part of Charles Henderson High School and their great tradition, and don't you ever knock tradition, because it means a lot in a lot of people's minds. But if you don't want to be a part of Charles Henderson High School, get on down the road.
Hit the road, Jack.
Hit the
And don't you
road,
come
Jack,
back no
because
more.
we don't want you if you don't want us.
I wish I could take it. You know, didn't the Coastal Carolina coach? He had never really coached before. He was a CEO in business. But he made a huge donation, and they said, "Yeah, we'll let you coach the team."
Yeah.
But you know, he knew a little about football, and he knew how to hire good assistant coaches, and he could sell the program. I could do that.
And you kids out there, if you don't want to be a part of Charles Henderson High School and that great orange and blue tradition, get on down the road. We'll find and we'll build a program with what we got. But if you don't want to be a part of it, get on down the road.
I want to win a championship.
I do too.
My little heart.
Mike, I noticed that you said something that you had. I heard you in the background once we were saying that. You're a real believer of if you don't want to be there, get on down the road. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, my issue is we got to find a way to somehow turn a program around that I've been told by numerous coaches has tremendous athletes.
Yeah.
That the talent's there. It's just finding the right coach to make it happen. So I just hope that they can do that.
I'll tell you this. I got a friend of mine who lives right across the street from him, a catty corner across the street from me. Richard Bassett, one of the very, very good ball players. He'd be in the top 10 easy. The best player ever played at Charles Henson. He's got a son-in-law that's a pretty good football coach, and has a lot of Troy connections. I don't know whether or not he has put his name in the hat or not.
You're talking about Adam.
You're right. Hey, you're exactly right. He coaches at one of the best programs in Alabama.
He would be good.
Let's
And that's Clay Chalkville. Clay Chalkville.
I got a thought. Let's bring David Earl Helms out of retirement.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
He'd be a good one.
He's at the home gallery. You talk about disciplinarian, you got to start there.
Yeah.
An organization, you got to
And
start there.
another one.
Heck, he could do it in his sleep.
And I'll tell you right now, there's a guy right down the road here, down here, hey, I do believe he could coach up this team too, and they can get the kids out for football that need to be out for football.
Yeah, there's a lot of good names out
Arrington is where we're talking about, and it's an assistant coach down there that knows a lot of football.
there.
Yeah, Chuck Dunn's a great coach. Coach Gilchrist's a great coach. I mean, you got Coach Rigby. That's the name you hear.
But Coach Rigby's got to want a job, and Charles Henson got to want to give him the things he needs to win. You're right.
All I know is Pine Lamarche is having another recruiting weekend. They're got a recruiting class coming in pretty soon, and He's going to have to get a coach in there to keep his players.
Oh, I wonder how many of those players are coming back. No question.
I don't know.
Of course,
all I know is Charles Henderson is a girls' basketball school, and we just hope Coach Jones can win another state championship.
Well, I'll tell you this. It is a premium girls program over there. This lady knows how to coach, and she's got a tradition, and that's what I love. She built a tradition there at Charles Henderson High School.
Yeah, and they play. The Charles Henderson Lady Trojans will host Brubaker Tech.
They're
tonight
good. In Brubaker Tech,
at Betty
usually
Wagner
good.
Gym at 6:30. And when we talk about high schools throughout this area, and of course I grew up in Goshen, and the one thing about all schools, let's say Crenshaw and Pike Labarge, that's another volleyball team, ladies basketball team, men's basketball, baseball, golf, tennis, football.
Softball.
And it gives all those students an opportunity to play as well. The biggest stickler is they don't they're a private school, and kids can go there by any means, and I'm as for one school as I am the other one, but it's been more of a sting this year because you've lost players from different schools in this area to Pike Labarge, and that I'm not throwing Pike Labarge under the bus, but it hurts those programs. But my point is this: if everybody was happy at their location, or if things were going right at their location, they may not have left. But it's still red, white, and blue. America, go where you want to go. But you gotta, I'm for everybody, but
what
what
you're saying is, if one team's getting after it and doing well, you got to raise the bar at your program. Yeah. It ought to raise all boats competition.
That's right. Of course, Charles Henson's a lot bigger program than Pike Liberal Arts, a lot bigger. But now they have a state championship at that school. These kids transferred to play for that team and won a state championship, and more power to them. Wonderful. I think it's great. And they have beat a team in football. They beat a team in basketball, and they have beat a team in baseball for three straight
seasons
of state championships, and you
they,
can't be there.
baseball technically didn't play last year.
That's right.
That's right, but they're still the reigning champions because they didn't. But they almost certainly would have won it if they had.
But again,
breaking baseball news here, and this breaks my heart. Tim Tebow has decided to shut down and retire after 5 years of baseball in the Mets organization. So Tim Tebow made it all the way to AAA, but not gonna make it to the majors.
Yeah.
So,
How about Fernando?
Now Tim Tebow should run for president of the United States.
Yeah,
How
I'd vote
about
for him.
Fernando Tatis Jr. and the San Diego Padres have agreed to a 14-year, $340 million contract for the 22-year-old Fernando Tatis Jr., the shortstop.
I tell you, he's something. That's something else. I tell you, no question about it.
What is on the divide 14 into 320, and that comes out to about $20-something million a year.
Right.
Well, they also have another player, Manny Machado. He's under a $300 million contract. But on safe travels to a particular family, Jackson West from Charles Henson High School will have a weigh-in tomorrow in Huntsville, Alabama. He's in the 5A State Wrestling Championships. Congratulations and good luck to Jackson West. He'll wrestle at 152. And he's a junior, and I think that's the first ever wrestler at Charles Henson to be able to compete. They had one wrestler, Bailey Nation, who made it, but when he weighed in about a year ago, he didn't make weight. You got to make your weight. If you don't make your weight, you're out.
Congratulations
so, good luck
for
to
Troy.
Jackson.
Congratulations for Troy Bank and Trust Company. They've got a brand new Troy Bank and Trust Company Mortgage Center for your benefit, and of course it's located right here on 615 Park Street, and they're great people, and we appreciate them very much. I want to mention as we talk, and of course as again, congratulations on another state championship, and it's at Pike Liberal Arts School, and hey, anytime that you can play every sport and win a state championship, you have really
well.
it's
just impressive to me who they're beating too. I mean, this is the TA is the blue blood of independent basketball.
I think they won it 16 times. Tuscaloosa Academy.
Oh, they won yesterday 18 times.
Oh, 18.
My late first cousin played basketball for 4 years for TA and won several state championships.
They have won several at least 50 games in a row. They have won in a row. I remember that years ago.
Yeah, the greatest player they ever had was a guy named Pete Chilcutt.
Chilcutt played at North Carolina. You're right. No question about that.
Troy is 1 day, 10 hours, 31 minutes, and 21 seconds from starting their baseball season against Youngstown State.
That's not
Youngstown
long.
Is the Penguins, if anybody's asking.
The Penguins.
And you know who is the president of that university? I'm gonna see how smart you guys are.
Of Youngstown.
Jim Tressel.
Jim Tressel, the former Ohio State baseball
football
coach, is the head
The president?
The president of.
Mike Amos sat in his office with Johnny Williams.
He's
at Ohio State.
Super guy. I mean, he's a super guy. You're right. Spent the whole afternoon with him, and he just, at that time he was the head football coach at Ohio State.
Is he the coach that wore the sweaters all the time?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a good-looking guy. Sweater tie combination.
Yeah.
And,
the only problem is all his players were getting free tattoos, and he lost his job because of that.
Free tattoos. Oh boy!
You know, the softball team was defeated by Liberty yesterday, 3-1.
No.
And they'll play again Friday. And they'll play Austin P at 2. Mercer at 5. They also play West Carolina. But the head coach for Liberty is a lady by the name of Dot Richardson, who was a shortstop for UCLA. when they won their first national championship. She's 59 years old, and I think she's a former Olympian.
I've heard of her. Yeah.
Here's some of the teams that Liberty plays: Alabama, LSU, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee. Liberty girls softball, they're pretty good.
It's like Bobby Bowden did it at Florida State. He wanted anybody that would play him. He said, "We're going to play you. The bigger the marquee you have, the more we want to play you." Cool. I've heard of her. She's a famous softball Olympian.
And I think she is a doctor in orthopedic surgery.
I think she is too.
I will tell you this too. Now you're talking about recruiting. To my knowledge, Pike Liberal Arts baseball, they come from the roots of the kids on their campus. I mean, you don't see any recruiting. I mean, those kids are there, and they're gonna play. They'll be there every year. It wouldn't surprise me if Pike Liberal Arts goes on a long win, state tournament win situation. They're that good, especially with the pitching.
Well, we don't want to jinx them, but you're right. I mean, on paper,
I don't think
they got a new coach, but young Hickson. I think he's gonna be great.
And it's just so much tradition now that evolves around Pike's program, and hey. More power to you. Hey, get after it and win another state championship. And let me tell you this pitcher, this left-handed pitcher that that Pike Liberal Arts has, whoever he goes up against, he's going to beat. If it's for the state championship, he's going to beat him. He is that good.
Well, Charles Citizen Baseball opens up. Well, they had a rain out, but they're supposed to play at home against Dothan today at 7:00. So good luck to Chase Smart. You know, he's in his first year at Charles Henderson High School. And like we said earlier, Pike Liberal Arts will open up against Edgewood tomorrow. The girls will also play. The Charles Henderson girls are supposed to host George W. Long today at 4:30, JV and varsity, if they can have a helicopter to fly in and drive that field off. They may have to go to the sports plant.
It wasn't nearly as cold this morning, so the temperature ought to be a little warmer.
Yeah, it's 60s down here now. Overnight it got warm.
I don't know if they've got any kind of cover on that field or not. Let me just say this: it holds water.
It's wet. That's a
it
swamp
is wet.
down there.
It really is. And now over at Troy University, they let them play over there. They charted down everything. They got all kinds of gear.
Years ago,
who's Chase going to call though to be able to play at Troy University? He don't have any connections up there.
Who's that?
Who's Chase going to call at Troy University to play on their field?
I don't think Chase would have a hard time playing on any surface that belongs to Troy University.
You think if he called his dad within 5 minutes, he'd say yes?
Dad, get off the practice field. We got to play. I can hear him say that right now. But we're talking about the girls also.
Chase doesn't have any experience in his coaches either. You know, Sam Kitchens doesn't know anything about baseball, and Brian Meadows sure doesn't know anything about that.
Let me just say this: it's the poor. I don't know why he would hire a guy named like Brian Meadows. I mean, he works in the recreation department. He don't know anything about baseball.
He's cool.
And he's got a guy also over there that has played on a lot of great teams. I'm being facetious, ladies and gentlemen.
There's restrictions in baseball.
Their coaching staff's next to none.
Like if somebody hits a home run or scores, nobody can come out of the dugout and congratulate them. In high school baseball, they gotta maintain a distance. And
oh my goodness, that's insane. That is unbelievable.
They cannot come out and at least give a.
They've got to stay in the dugout. I read some restrictions the other day on the Alabama High School Athletic Association website.
It's like they're not within this close to one another, for hours every day.
But there's a 50% attendance at softball games and baseball games at Troy University.
With the shortstop, as good as he is, the white kid, and Mario White, that's his name, isn't it?
I've never seen him field one ground ball.
Well, you're right. A lot of people haven't. But let me tell you this: he is that good. He's one of the top he is the top player right now in the Florida State system, of recruits, and then of course this kid that Charles Henderson, that Pike has as a starting pitcher. Those are probably the best 1-2 players in the country.
I wonder
on one team they.
I wonder if White can pitch too.
Yes, he can.
I'm sure he can if he's a shortstop.
And I don't know what their plan is for him, but I would think he'd be an excellent pitcher.
Well, you got Walker Stallworth.
And Walker,
he's already signed with somebody. I can't remember. I'll try to research that.
He's going to Wadley.
And there's
he's a senior this year.
I think there's a Jeff Coat boy.
He was starting at Charles Henderson as a 9th, 10th grader, wasn't he, Dad?
Yeah, I think he's got 2 more years. I want to say, is that right?
He's a senior.
Yeah, he's a senior. Okay.
Preston playing Jeff Coat.
Yeah, and he's of course he's.
And is that Jeff Coat? Is that any kin to Coach Jeff Coat? Is that his grandson?
No, that's Billy.
Oh, Billy. Oh, okay,
yeah. But Billy, of course, can coach him too. He's a pretty good coach too. But it's going to be fun to watch these teams, and I throw all this out about Pike LeBlanc baseball. 1-2, they probably got the best 1-2 punch in high school baseball, maybe at any level.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who they're.
Off one team.
I'll say this though. You remember when Pike LeBlanc beat Morgan Academy? They've won 30-something games in a row.
Yeah, that's right.
I think 4 of their players were Division I signees in baseball.
That's right. That shortstop's playing in the major leagues.
Well, who beat them? So there you go. Just because you got all these hot shot commitments is not guaranteed.
The same thing when Charles Henderson won state championship, they had to get through that first pitcher. I think they lost the first game. They burnt that first pitcher, played a close game.
They played Ardmore.
Yeah. And then they won the next 2 games, and that's kind of what happened. You get through that dominant pitcher, and win the next 2.
In baseball, if you've got 2 great pitchers, you're looking in college too. I mean, that's really the key, is having 2.
So Stallworth and
Nelson.
Would
that's your 2 pitchers.
Would be, we know, and then I'm sure White, they could bring him in if they wanted to. He'd be pretty good.
I'm sure they got other pitchers too.
And,
we haven't talked
about.
And
pitching is 70% of it. You got to have at least you got to have some great pitching, and they do. And Pike does.
I can look at Troy's national championship baseball teams under Coach Riddle. They always had 2 pitchers.
At least 2.
I can look at Charles Henderson's teams that either won a state championship or were right there, almost winning one.
And Mike,
they always had 2 pitchers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and most every time under Riddle, one of them was a left-hander.
Pitcher at Troy,
James Ray, and what was the other one before Ray, Mike?
We had Mike Perez, James Ray.
Danny Cox.
No, the left-handed pitcher, Mike.
Warren.
Warren. See, they had Warren, they had James Ray, and then they had
Perez. They're all just.
All right.
Once they went out there, it was a win. You could just.
And 2 of them were left-handers, and I mean, shut down left-handers.
Was Jody Ryan? Jody Ryan was lights out.
Oh yeah. Well, in that one game, he was lights out. In that championship, in the championship round, he was lights out. I'll tell you that, no question.
You had Stanhope was a good pitcher too, wasn't he?
Chuck Stanhope won in 11 games that year. Yeah, I know that team very well. They were a great team for those 2 years.
Yeah, that was some of the most fun I had as a kid growing up. They played those baseball tournaments down in Panama City, so we already were staying at the beach, and then we'd go watch Troy play baseball.
Yeah, it was always a lot of fun to watch them play these teams.
And all the players would be staying in condos on the beach. I can't imagine how much fun that was for those players.
I can tell you some stories. There's some real stories behind all that. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is today in L.A. We're coming to you from our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. Bill Rice Jr., the home of the son of a legend. We've got Forrest Lee, son of a legendary Trojan or Goshen product, and yours truly, Mike Amos, calling in on Zoom TV this morning. Is that right?
He's
Yeah, I'm
zooming.
down in Great Beach, Florida. I've got a big oysters and champagne event at Alice Beach Wine Festival tonight. I'm
Wow.
looking forward to it. It's going to be a 100% chance of rain. I'm going to be underneath the tent.
But will the oysters be cold? I might have to come by there.
Well, today's National Wine Day and tomorrow's National Tartar Sauce Day.
Called rosé and croquet.
Hey,
Everybody's gonna be wearing white and playing croquet. And
Oh, boy.
drinking rosé.
when does spring break begin at the beaches? I know it's different for different states. It's probably about the middle
It'll
of
start
March.
March for sure. March 1st.
They're flying the coop.
Again, they're dancing in the streets of Old Pike Liberal. In fact, one of the streets is named after Delaney Kirby, and boy, what a great man he was to lead that school for so many years. And of course, they're dancing in the streets of Pike Liberal Arts with another state championship. And not just one, it's three to celebrate, one in baseball, one in basketball, and one in football. And that's saying a lot right there.
Yeah,
That's
I like it
saying a lot.
that they beat such quality opponents. If you're going to win it, you might as well beat the best, and that's what they did.
And over at Charles
That's
Henderson,
coming from the former head football coach of Pike Liberal Arts, Mike Amos. Did you ever think when you were the head football coach that in 2021 they got a chance to win the football state championship? They've already won the basketball state championship. Now it looks like the baseball state championship.
I don't think anybody can. I don't think anybody can just say we're going to win it. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Mike Amos' coach team wasn't going to win it. I'll tell you that right now. I was just a young buck, just trying to figure out what I want to do.
What is Pike Liberal Arts? What's their fight song? Their alma mater song? Do they have one?
Yeah, they've got one.
Maybe we can play it today.
I wish we had that Pike song up there. We probably got it somewhere, but I know we do have it. And
They're the Patriots. They got a great nickname.
It's a patriotic song. What is it?
Is it Jim atop a hill behind Hook's Barbecue?
Mike, what are you talking about? A gym upon a hill?
They are atop a hill.
No, I'm talking about.
What are you talking about, boy?
I'm talking about Hook's Barbecue. I'm trying to think about what their song would be.
Well, their song is a patriotic song. I could probably find it somewhere, but they've got a band over there, and they play those songs, and I'm sure they're going to have.
Well, look at the crowd overflowing. That shows you the support the team's got. And they had a huge crowd at the football game. I mean, there's a family atmosphere, and everybody from kindergarten through 12th grade and alumni go and support Pike. Heck, they probably have more fans going to games than Charles Henderson does.
Probably do on the
What we ought
road.
to do is we ought to get Steve, if it's possible, maybe before we get off the air today, to play that final couple minutes, and let's watch them win a state championship. We've got the coverage. Maybe we can play that last couple minutes on the air and let everybody see the final.
In celebration, yeah.
Well,
celebration. It was a great celebration.
We're going to go to a break. We're going to go. We got some wonderful sponsors out here of our show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Baby, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Almost.
Back to our show, brought to you by some great sponsors, and we appreciate them very much today. And as we celebrate another state championship for Pike Liberal Arts, their football, their basketball teams, has just won a state championship over one of the top programs of all time, the Tuscaloosa Academy program, and Pike goes to the state championship and wins that.
It's on the page one, top of the fold of the sports in the Montgomery Advertiser.
Sure is.
Color picture. So that is also great advertising for Pike and for Troy. And then we didn't make the point that Pike won the state championship in basketball yesterday. Well, they almost won it last year, so this was close to back-to-back.
Last year, that's right.
And so in basketball, they're got a run going in baseball and in basketball. I guess football.
There's no telling how many cheerleading championships they've won in a row.
They have won at least 7. They've won 7 straight. I mean, we're talking about straight championship. They dominate in cheerleading. It is unreal.
They're working at it probably right.
Exactly right. And again, let me tell you, from kindergarten on up, from those little kids in kindergarten, go Patriots, go Patriots. Everything is go Patriots this morning. They're all cheering on their team from kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade, and that's the way it is.
There's probably a pep rally today.
I guarantee you there'll be a pep rally somewhere. If not, somebody go get shot.
No, they'll have one, I'm sure.
I'll tell you this, Rice, and you were a public school guy, and a lot of people are public school guys. I was raised public school all the way. So many people were, but you got to hand it to them this morning. A wonderful program has been built. And I don't see it stopping. I think they're gonna be good all the time.
The head coach Matt Brown. I read the article in Alabama.com and the Dothan Eagle. He was very complimentary of his players and his coaches, and he also gave a lot of credit to Alan Ponder, who he was the assistant under for 3 or 4 years at Pike Liberal Arts, and Alan moved on to. Is it Pike Road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pike Road.
But he gave him credit. He said that's the only thing missing. He wished that Allen would have been a part of this championship because he felt like he had a big part.
He deserves a lot of credit.
They had 4 starters coming back from last year.
No question about it. But now I will say this too: a lot of people will have their eye on Alan Ponder as he starts his public school baseball career. As a coach, and look out! He's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. He's going to do fun.
We got Pike Road, Pike Liberal Arts, Pike County, and then if Pike Liberal Arts ever makes the jump to public school, would they go to Pike Academy? You think they keep the liberal arts?
I don't know. I would think Pike Academy would be the good name for it if they do that. Would be called Pike Academy, like Montgomery Academy, Pike Academy.
Or is that going to be a huge uproar, like when Troy State University went to Troy University and everybody went crazy?
Yeah, no, I thought that went over well.
You're exactly right.
The Troy State dropping the state.
You still have people in the state say, "Oh, it's Troy State University." People that graduate from Troy State.
Well, a lot of people.
Facebook nonstop.
The people that the one that was not going to go over well was the changing it to a directional school. That was the big blowback.
East Alabama.
Yeah, East Alabama Christian. Alabama
Central or.
I liked Alabama Southern. I didn't have an issue with
Alabama Southern would have been, if they had done it, that would have been the way to do it. But I'm so glad they didn't do it. And Doug Hawkins, the late Doug Hawkins, had a lot to do with through the Board of Trustees. He's the one that pushed all of this. And one of the things, it was some people that wanted that name change. Some people wanted it to be Alabama Southern or some name like that. But Dr. Hawkins, Doug Hawkins, with the chancellor also involved, and then of course this group of local businessmen that wanted Troy to move up to Division I, and they did, and thank goodness they did. The deal was, hey, look, leave the name alone, and we'll go Division I.
They almost happened at the same time. I'll tell you, Journalism Matters, that might have been one of the biggest scoops the Troy Citizen had. That was the paper that Bobby and I started 10 years ago. I had a little source that said, Bill, they are getting ready to change the name of the university to a directional school. I said, huh? He said, yes, it's a done deal. They've been working on it behind the scenes. And so I called and said, is this happening? And I remember, I won't say who I talked to, and he just kind of stammered and like, how did you know this? And I read a big story saying it possibly could happen. It was being discussed seriously. And then that's when the blowback hit, just like I thought it would. And it was nipped in the bud. People said no. And they turned lemons into lemonade and eventually dropped the state and kept it to Troy, just like Clemson and Auburn, which I thought was a home run. So it worked out perfect. But I think it was closer to happening, that name change, than we think. And maybe my little newspaper article stopped it.
Well, I'll tell you this too, and I know a little bit about it. A
little bit about it. You were at every meeting, weren't you?
Well, I'll just say this: that everybody was not for the name change. Everybody was not for the name change, some people wanted to keep it at Troy State, and some people wanted to keep it at Troy University, and that is what it turned out to be. Thank goodness. But they used it to say, hey, don't fool with the name change. Don't fool with the name change. We'll go 1A, and that's where the trustees looked at it, was that, hey, we're going to change. We're going to go 1A in football, and and keep the name Troy University.
Well, the argument was that nobody would really want to schedule Troy State. They wanted to. If you had a directional name, it sounded bigger and more.
And you're right. And
that was, you get it. But then also, was that proven to be the case? Everybody in the who's who of college football had no problem playing Troy State and then Troy University.
And it sounded much better. But that's exactly right. It was some good points brought out, and these are some strong people that wanted the
They were good
change.
Points, yeah.
But
think about how much it costs the university to change their name.
Yeah, I know.
You had to take state off of every building.
But and all of that came in. All of that came in. It was just there was not a.
I think you think about
a strong enough challenge.
And then the name of Troy is so cool. It's got such history with the ancient Troy. That's a huge asset to me.
I know the chancellor did not want the name changed at all. He was not for the name change, and that's what happened.
Well, eventually it all worked out fine, and
exactly.
they didn't make the change. It was just maybe discussed and
there were strong Troy people, that was looking at it as being best for, and a couple of those people wanted the change, but the majority did not want the change.
Well, I think Alabama Southern was the name that everybody liked, but I think there was already an Alabama Southern Junior College, I believe.
There was, and
Southeast Alabama University.
That would not have been very good.
Had South Alabama, East Alabama. I guess probably was second.
Yeah.
West Alabama.
I mean,
And then there was also a name, Troy International. There was also a name thrown out there, Troy International. There was a lot of things that was.
You mean Alabama International?
Alabama, excuse me, Alabama and Troy International.
Yeah.
Alabama International wouldn't have been horrible.
Yeah, that's right. But thank goodness we kept Troy, and I'm tickled to death, and we kept.
Well,
Troy.
and also the nickname at one time was the Red Wave of Troy State University. The Red Wave,
That's
and
right,
then
the Red
I think
Wave.
it was Dr. Hawkins that said, "Heck, we're Troy. Let's be the Trojans."
No, I'm gonna tell you who did
I mean,
that.
Dr. Adams.
I'm gonna tell you who that the football coach from Montgomery. Oh gosh,
Jones.
Jones. He's the one that did that.
So check out the Trojans.
Went to go Trojans, and it was great. Thank goodness it was great. I love the Trojans.
Well, what do we
That's
have?
why
We have the
who
you
we are.
have
We're
the
Troy
US you have the
Trojans.
USC Trojans and the Troy Trojans, and I mean
right.
the Troy Trojans makes more sense than the USC Trojans.
That's right.
What about Charles
But Tom
Henderson?
Jones. Tom Jones. He was the head football coach when they went to Troy Trojans. The nickname Troy Trojans.
But wasn't Dr. Adams the president then?
I'm sure he had a lot to do with it.
In Dad's book, it says there was he.
But you know what? I don't think Coach. I don't think he really cared. I don't think he really cared.
Well, it kind of it was an obvious knockoff of the Crimson Tide, the Red Wave, and so let's get our own nickname and not be mooching off of Alabama's glory. But
again, that was a great move by Tom Jones, and of course, also.
Well, I'd love to see some old Red Wave T-shirts or any kind of thing out there.
There's still a little of that. There's still a little.
So that'd be
of
a great collector's item. You're right.
Yeah.
And
I'm proud to have been a Troy State Red Wave.
Now you know the name of Troy has been changed many times. I mean, it was first the State Normal School of Troy, and then I mean it's had about 5
Troy
names.
State Teachers College.
Yeah.
Ralph Adams, of course, came in as president, and I'm sure he was all for that name change. And he was not a Troy graduate; he didn't really care, And again, Tom Jones was the lead guy there, and then of course Dr. Adams.
Well, I think we found it.
The rest of the story.
Troy University, I think it's and it did take people a long time to drop the state, but now it's been how long has it been? 20 years. Now most people just refer to it as Troy, just like they refer to Auburn as Auburn and Clemson as Clemson.
Tom Jones, let's see, came in here and right after I would think 67 or 6. Well, no.
You know who?
Came in here about 69 or 70, maybe 70 or 71. He came in. I think that's when it happened.
That's when we went to the Trojans officially.
We went to the Trojan mascot, which was great.
So when you were growing up, you were pulling for the Red Wave.
Oh yeah.
So when in 1968, when Sim Bird won that national championship, it was the Troy State Red Wave.
Yeah. And when Chase Riddle played here, it was a Troy Red Wave. And it was the nickname's been the same for a long time, and of course some great players and coaches came through here over the years.
But the high school has always been Trojans.
Always been Trojans.
The Troy High School Trojans.
Yeah. The orange and blue of Troy High School, and with Bobby Marlowe as the running back, Charlie Hathaway as the running back. Those two pretty good. Albert Elmore was the quarterback, and Tom Murphy's brother was the quarterback when Bobby Marlowe played. Sambo Murphy. We could go on and on talking about
Johnny Crease, the insurance agent.
Johnny Crease.
He was a sophomore on that team.
That's right. He went to Troy High School, and
did Troy High School always play at Memorial Stadium
Well,
they have their own field.
Well, but at one point they played at Riddle Pace Field, didn't they?
Then they played at a little field at one time years ago. I'm talking about years ago. My daddy played. They played at the old high school, the old Troy High School on Elm Street.
No.
Oh yeah,
that big practice field.
oh yeah, that's where they played. That's where my daddy played high school football, and that was a long time ago. But at Stumpy Fields, and I could name out a lot.
In Dad's books, there's an account of how they built Memorial Stadium. It was a community effort. There were a couple contractors that came in and donated equipment and time and land, and they built them a nice little stadium.
Joe Frank Walters Construction Company built the stadium.
It says Troy High School was also known as Troy Community Complex, was a public high school in Troy, Alabama, built in 1917.
It became the community
Architect
complex
Frank
when they
Lockwood,
remember they closed it, and then there was Miss Wiley made a big effort to save the building, and
Troy High School.
And so it was the community complex for a while.
And Troy High School, of course, later on, they played their games right there at Troy, at the Troy High School field there.
That's a big field. That's a big field.
That's a field. Somebody could still use it for.
Yeah. And you see that on the corner, had the bank there and all that.
I guess that was the practice field, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But they played the high school games there for years.
I remember
They
playing
played
flag
on the
football
rocks.
there.
That's when my daddy was. Let's say he had been probably 32 or wait a minute.
When he graduated?
No, let me see when he graduated. If he was. Let's see. Yeah, I would think around 32, 31, 32, 30, or something like that.
The first football teams at Troy High School, I think, were in the early 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, that can't be right, Dad. You were born in 47. It had to be in the 20s.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. He was born in 1911. My daddy was. All right, so.
So he played in the late 20s.
Late 20s, okay. All right. That's something similar to that.
My grandfather, Hickey Chapman, was
30.
Was the man. He played baseball, but he was the manager of the football team. But one of the players, when he would have been in the early 20s, I think, one of the players that played was Dr. Tip Colley. And Hickey gave Dr. Colley his nickname. He said when he moved to Troy, I guess he moved with his family when the children's home moved, or I don't know. But he said, "Watch out, everybody! Here comes Tip Top Colley," and it was later shortened to Tip. Yeah. But then, so I know they had pretty good high school football teams back then because Dr. Colley went and played at Howard, now Samford.
Yeah,
college
exactly.
football.
They played high school football here. But my daddy played. My daddy, I guess how he got the nickname Cushion Foot, Mike. Playing on the rocks.
It must have been big.
The guy said he runs like he's got cushion on his feet. And his nickname for their own for years was named Cush.
Well, there's a website.
Most anybody that knew my daddy back in high school called him Cush.
There's a website as it relates to
and
high
even
school.
over up through high school, through the years, over the years, his name was
Cush. Cush Amos.
Cush.
Well,
everybody had a nickname.
Yeah, it says the first team was 1922, coached by J.W. Perry Jr. They went 0-4. Then W.P. Schaffner, Brown, Frank Morris, Reese Holston, Dick Jones, Jim Dildy, Marvin Little, Levon Hanks, William Clipson.
Yeah,
those are some of the
early coaches. Yeah.
Troy was known for its band program, and Herman Mall.
It was a great band.
So you had to have the band was associated with the football team, right? They performed at the football games. And also, it's high school, I've researched it. High school football took off in the late teens, early 20s. College football did. But, when it really blew up is right in the early and mid-20s when who had great teams and finally got invited to the Rose Bowl and won.
Alabama.
In 1925, Alabama in the South, which was just everybody looked down their nose at Southern football because the game was invented in the Northeast in these Ivy League schools. Well, Alabama went out and beat Washington in front of 100,000 people in the Rose Bowl, And that wasn't just Alabama's team. That was the South's team. That was refighting the Civil War.
I want to say the first college game was Rutgers and Princeton.
I know it was Rutgers. Rutgers, I think, was.
Rutgers and Princeton, I think, were the first two teams.
The game was completely, you wouldn't even recognize it to today. The rules, they had a ton of players and more like rugby. And
yeah.
I think the game that we could recognize now kind of evolved in the they made some rule changes in like 1918 or so, after World War I maybe.
Yeah.
That's when football started looking like football we know today.
Let's get out of this. Of course, it was a wonderful, wonderful time, and it was a lot of history, and it's great that you can go back like Forrest was just a while ago, and Rice also going back with the history of Troy High School sports, and we're so proud to say Pike Liberal Arts has won another state championship, this time in basketball, and of course previously.
And that's their first in basketball, am I right?
That's right, exactly. And because of that team from Tuscaloosa, they won so many of them. And again, we're proud of them, and hope everybody enjoys celebrating that wonderful, wonderful victory yesterday. Of course, as y'all talked about, college baseball, Troy University. And I think Troy is going to be very, very competitive this year. They play in the Sun Belt, which is a very good baseball conference. But coming up this weekend, we've got a 3-game series with in baseball, 4 games. Four games, and they're playing Youngstown State. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
A good program, a solid program, and that should be a lot of good baseball. It'd be great if you could go ahead and buy your season tickets, because if buying your season tickets in baseball will allow you to come into the games.
First
they're
pitch at 6.
They're going to allow how many people to
50%, whatever that is.
50%.
Yeah. And
so it'd be good if you could go ahead and buy your season tickets, which I'm going to do for those games.
They're going to allow all those outlaws out there in the outfield.
They're going to have fun. And you're right. Those guys cooking, and gosh, boy, they have some great food. You can watch ball game free out there the whole season long.
Yeah.
A lot of your friends are out there. Yeah.
I'm sure they want as many people buying tickets as possible.
We were talking about growth projects on deck or on the wish list of Troy University yesterday, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught some of that while you were on the road. One thing I've heard is that the indoor football facility is they're going to make that happen at some point. But also there's a project to keep expanding and improving Riddle Pace Field, maybe down the first baseline, and
right.
Is maybe on the drawing board in the future.
Yeah, in fact, in order to house, or I say house, but in order to have any kind of tournament, you're going to have more seating. And what they're looking at is taking the seats and going down the right field line, first base and right field line, and it would be perfect.
Yeah.
And do they have facilities for the opposing team to dress on that side of the field?
No, they don't. They don't. And see, they need that.
Right, especially the collegiate
And I would
level.
think underneath those seats, they'll build some type of dressing facility for the.
Well, those bleachers back when I was young were scary, man. You could fall through the bleachers before they did the regular expansion.
Yeah.
But I'll say that baseball stadium's come a long ways over the years.
And I would like for it to be a very permanent situation.
I bet it will be.
It'd be great.
Well, the more we talk about it, that sounds really exciting. That would be great. I'm sure they'll make it happen.
I wonder if they'll ever build an indoor tennis facility.
They had one at Alabama, and what did that? After Saban got there a couple years, it became what? Let's expand the practice field into the tennis courts.
Well, I will tell you this: you could easily have indoor tennis facilities on your indoor facility, your indoor
football. Alabama
facility.
had it for
a lot of. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have something for tennis.
Ray Perkins just passed away, and he really did a good job of upgrading Alabama's facilities, which surprisingly had gotten kind of dilapidated in Coach Bryant's later years. But he built that athletic department headquarters, and he built the indoor football facility. But originally it had about 8 tennis courts in it, and later they went back and did away with the tennis courts and made the 90-yard football field 120 yards.
Their baseball facility is much better.
The new Phil Thomas Stadium is really
yeah, no question about it. And and Troy's baseball facility is adequate, but it's not adequate for a big time game. Right now we're very close to when Alabama and Auburn. Well, Auburn won't play Troy in baseball anymore, but you take Alabama. There's been some real close calls on having enough seating there. And
that makes
well, I mean, the famous game is when they came in second in the country, and we had issues with fans in the outfield harassing Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchens hit a buddy of mine in the face and broke his nose.
Yeah. There was a bunch of rednecks or has-beens or something. And,
a big time banker down here, Dwayne Youngblood, pitched in that game. He's a guy from the Peniac Springs, and I talk to him about it all the time. He pitched the game of his life against Alabama that night, and Troy won the game.
Yeah.
It's the number 2 ranked team in the country.
Isn't Freddie Kitchens with the New York Giants now? With Judge?
Yeah.
And
he's up there.
There's nothing official about Coach Pruitt going up there yet, as far as looking on the roster.
Coach?
I hadn't seen it on the roster yet.
Coach who now?
Coach Pruitt.
Oh,
yeah. Former Tennessee coaches.
Oh, yeah. Well,
has
anybody say? I didn't know anything about that.
Well, there's speculation he's going to the New York Giants, but I haven't seen it on their website.
Right, you look like you're about to jump out of this place, man. Look at Rice.
I slump sometimes, so now I'm
standing up. He's heading up the jet. He's heading up the jet.
He's trying to get his money at Tennessee first, I would imagine.
Yeah. Exactly. But right now, it will be a shame if he does not get some of that money.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to know that I.
He's kind of been. He's guilty before he's even had a trial on this NCAA stuff. What about due process? I mean, let's hear his side of the story.
Surely, there's no question that the University of Tennessee wants to keep that money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $13 million, isn't it? Something like that.
A lot of money.
Over 11, I believe.
Well,
in some aspects. You would figure he'll at least get half, I would think, when lawyers get involved or something.
Yeah.
They'll meet halfway, hopefully, at least. They'll get something out of it.
Want to mention the Matthews Law Firm. Evidently, he's at the Yellow House and not calling in. Did he call in yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Had a great visit with him.
He played the U.S. Amateur, he told us.
Oh, guys!
Not only did he play in it,
at Cherry Hill.
Not only did he play in it, he won his first. He made match play, and he won his first 2 matches.
Oh yeah.
Will was a fantastic golfer.
Beat Jared Pate by 20 strokes.
Wait a minute, did he say he beat Jared?
Not in the amateur, but in one tournament in Dothan.
Yeah. Well, he's been there. He's been around golf a long time, and
he was the number 1 player for Vanderbilt for 3 years and made it all SEC in golf.
Of course, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson Satisfaction is real.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Eddie, I'm right here. Oh, Miss Mary, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
That would be wonderful. Back to our show brought to you by Pike Tree Service, and let me tell you this. They're the only people I know that are really, really professionals at taking down your tree. They can do this, and a lot of people say, "Oh gosh, they know where they took down the tree." But when they take down a tree, and they don't leave any evidence, they don't leave any evidence of that tree. So that means they're going to clear out, not only cut the tree down, they're going to remove the stump, and they're going to clean out all around the area that was worked on.
That's a big difference, yes.
And Tony at Pike Tree Service, they do a professional job.
And this is probably the time of year when people would want to remove some nuisance trees.
Yeah. I want to mention Troy Regional Medical Center, and boy, they have been so good to a lot of people through this pandemic, and we want to take this time to recognize those people, and we're praying for you because I know you're still dealing with a lot of sick people.
You wanted a COVID update. The cases in Alabama, the country, and the world are plummeting. That's the right word. From a peak in early January, around January 4th to January 11th, to this week, cases have fallen about 80-70%, the number of new cases. I'll give you an example. On January, around between January 4th and January 11th, there were 5,000 new cases in the state of Alabama. 2 days ago in Alabama, there were 688 new cases. So it's dropped by 4,400 cases. You do the math on that, what percentage it is. Hospitalizations have dropped. Deaths are still alarming. But the number of new cases and hospitalizations, for some reason, and I'm not going to speculate here, but it has really fallen off the cliff.
But I tell you, that is great news. That is great news.
Yeah, it looks like nationally they've given over 56,000 doses of the vaccine. Of course, you got the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. Johnson & Johnson is coming out with their one-shot vaccine, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
What's happened to them? They were all for getting all this started, and then they shut down. What happened?
Just got to get approval.
Yeah.
All right. So right now they don't have approval right now.
Yeah, but that's got to make you feel good that 56 million doses have been given to people in the United States.
I know it
way
is
more than any other country.
Well, the context is always important. The population of America is 330 million, so that's it's about what 1/6 of the population. It's got now. You're supposed to get 2 doses, so we don't know how many have got. In Alabama, as of a couple of days ago, 2.5% of the state's population had received both doses. That's called fully vaccinated, and you're supposed to wait 10 days after that second dose to have your antibodies. And Alabama is actually last in the country on the percentage that has had both doses. But so you still got 97% of the state population that has yet to be received both doses.
Oh boy!
In Alabama, it's better. It's higher than that in other.
Biden came out, and I read an article. I think he said in June there'll be over 600 million doses available.
Oh boy! That would be that'd be great.
That's still several months away, and I don't know when they'll make the call and open it up for everybody. I don't know. When they say, hey, anybody out there that wants to get it can get it.
You know what I think's going on here, and this isn't just my opinion. It's a lot of people are speculating this. Is that more people have actually had the virus by now than was known? That means once you've contracted it, you get natural immunity. So probably one of the reasons the cases are plunging is a bigger percentage than we realize that people have already had it. Thus, they cannot get it again. They cannot pass it on to somebody else. Another part of this, I think, is that the coronavirus is a coronavirus. What is a coronavirus? The cold. These viruses come, when do they happen? In the cold and flu season, which is November, December, January, starts to taper off in January, and by early February, that's pretty much it for the cold and flu and virus season. So we're now doing what? We're leaving the worst weeks of the virus season, and you've got so many people that are naturally immune. So I think that explains a large part of this plunge.
Well, I tell you, that's something.
I mean, everybody is coughing and sneezing down here because we have horrible pollen already in Grape Beach and all over 38. It's amazing. It can be 30 degrees outside and have pollen covering your cars.
I say if there's I know, but right now is it 65 and over right now? What is the age?
That's what it is in Alabama and Florida. 65, and then first responders, school teachers,
food handlers.
I mean, a lot of these people that own restaurants, I feel like, should be able to get a shot. I mean,
I do too.
People nonstop.
But there's a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know have not been allowed to take the shot, and I wish they would.
You know, I still want somebody to explain to me why the grocery store clerks haven't had the highest incidence of COVID, because the girls that check you out at the grocery store line, they have been in contact with more people on a daily basis, very close contacts, and plus they're touching every item that they ring up in the grocery store. Seems to me that just they would have the highest rates of COVID, just for the logical reason that they've come in contact with. But this has not been the case. I mean, the girls at Piggly Wiggly and Publix seem to be fine.
Well, I think that was the biggest misnomer that everybody was worried about when COVID first happened, was touching objects. You know, at the gas pump, your groceries, wiping them down. You know, that you could get COVID from surfaces, and that turned out not to be true.
Wait a minute now. Let's be careful here. Let's be careful here. Is that a
non-fact? That's come out later that they said that was just not the case.
Well, it kind of follows that if that was the case, the girls that were ringing up everything of bacon and butter at the store would have it. But what I think is happening, how you get it, even with the mask, is probably your hands. You're touching your face and nose and ears.
Oh, yeah, contacts are awful.
I would think it would be a good thing if you go in the grocery store or the post office to wear gloves. What would you think?
No.
What would y'all think about that?
I don't think that grocery store. I don't think it's spreading in grocery stores like everybody says it is, or restaurants for that matter.
You know, another article that I read
All right, give us a
couple of days ago is women who are scheduled to have mammograms. Do your mammogram before you take your first shot, and do not have a mammogram between shots. Wait 2 or 3 weeks after your last vaccination before you have a mammogram, because in some cases it may give a false reading on your lymph nodes, because women who take the vaccine, in some cases there's a swelling of their lymph nodes after taking the shots. So schedule your mammogram after you have both shots, or take it before you have your first shot.
And you read that?
I read that in an article on Alabama.com from leading physicians as it relates to that category of women. And
it's breaking news on AL.com. It says Alabama saw a 31% jump in COVID vaccines last week. Now they're slowed by the supply. It also says 1 in 3 U.S. troops have refused the COVID-19 vaccine. Why would troops be refusing it?
Man.
Well, I'll tell you why they're refusing it. It's because they're young, and even if you get COVID and you're 22 years old, it's not going to do anything to you. So I can understand. I mean, the vaccine makes more sense for people who are over 60 and have predisposing health conditions. But the after effects of the vaccine for the troops might be worse than if they get the case of COVID. It's probably going to be asymptomatic. They're not even going to know it. So That's probably why so many are refusing it.
And I'll tell you this now: on the second round, I've seen what he can do. My wife was very sick on the second round. But fine. She was sick for a day, and she's fine.
Yeah, about 6% of the second doses of the second shot have caused really a lot of people to be really sick, and then some people have no reaction. So it's kind of strange.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot going on this weekend in Troy, Alabama. If you want to watch softball, they've got softball galore. If you want to watch baseball, the opening 4-game series against a very good team out of Youngstown State. Charles Henderson opens up. Are they at home for us?
They're supposed to play at home today against Dothan at 7 o'clock.
And I believe it's going to be a lot warmer today. What do you think?
And the Lady Trojans of Charles Henderson will host Brubaker Tech tonight in the state basketball playoffs. So there's a lot of things going on, and good luck to everybody involved in the playoffs, wrestling, the whole.
This is usually the busiest year in the world in sports, or the spring when when you've got baseball going on, basketball going on, softball going on,
tennis, golf, track and field, cheerleader trials,
lots of overlap of sports.
Exactly right. And of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors, Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Spring football,
football is around
spring
the corner.
Football is right around the corner. Give us the dates of Troy spring. The spring Troy game.
March 1st.
What now?
March 1st, I believe.
March 1st, and then they're going to have their spring game, I want to say, on April 10th.
And I want to repeat what y'all said the other day that got me real excited. Of the Troy Trojans, 22 starters last year, 21 are coming back this year.
That's right. So, and then more.
Then they'll have some transfers coming in, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy's 197 days, 14 hours, 34 minutes, and 9 seconds from playing Southern University on September 4th.
Oh boy, playing Southern University. All right, well let me ask you this. I want to mention this again. Troy will start spring practice on March 1st and end it with April the 10th.
I believe that's correct. I think
April 10th, that's right.
Yeah. April 10th game at Veterans Stadium. So we've got a little football coming up, and I'm excited about it.
Yep. The baseball team plays Texas State at home that weekend too.
Yeah, exactly.
In a 4-game series.
With Auburn, you got a new football coach, so there'll be a lot of interest in his spring practice. At Alabama, you're going to have a new quarterback, so there'll be a lot of interest in that.
And I will be surprised if there will not be some kind of competitor for the Alabama job. Are they going to just give it to this guy, or the incoming guy, or what?
No, I think Tyson is improved. He's probably growing and filling out. But also they signed a kid from Texas that is a dual threat quarterback. And I normally don't watch these high school tapes, Mike, but I watched his. He looks like a little high school Jalen Hurts to me, so don't rule out this. And he's already enrolled.
They also have something called the transfer portal.
That's wide open still. There's some good ones out there.
It would tickle me to see Coach Bryant's grandson, get the job.
Yeah, the Oregon quarterback entered the transfer portal.
Who is that?
The Oregon starting quarterback last year entered the transfer portal.
I tell you what, it's a bucket of worms when it comes to this portal thing. I tell you,
the portal,
because they can be happy one practice and say, "Coach, I don't want to be a part of you anymore. I'm gonna go that other way."
Michael, you probably followed this. I saw that Ben Davis, who's stuck it out at Alabama for 4 or 5 years, he was a 5-star prospect from Gordo that never really developed into a starter. Was kind of considered a disappointment. Well, he had one more year he could have played because of COVID, but he has entered the transfer portal. But I want to tell you, he stuck it out, and he actually played some last year in key moments. Number 1, outside linebacker. And, Troy needs to see if they can get him out of the portal.
Yeah, no question about it. We hope you've enjoyed our show. And, of course, we appreciate all of you that watch our show, and we appreciate our sponsors very much. And we hope that you will have a great weekend. We've got a lot of things going on, and get out, and hopefully the weather will be conducive for a lot of baseball and a lot of softball this weekend.
And congratulations again to the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots.
And the Patriots of Pike Liberal Arts are state champions of the basketball world, and congratulations.